Happening, guys? Put together a little something here for our 20th year in the Old Rivals League. So it's a season preview. Kind of go through each team and talk about the roster and what the prospects look like for the team, and then at the end, a little few predictions on how things might go this season. So we'll go through team by team. We'll go through the teams by division. So we'll get started with the Gryffindor division here. So it's the Lions, the Browns, the Chargers, and the Seahawks. And we'll go with the Seahawks first. So it's Lauren's squad. Obviously, there's not a lot of players to be excited about here, but Tua is one of them. So he's the backdrop for here. So the roster shows up over here. If you're looking at it, the points here are projected season long points. My kicker points are like way off, but I don't really care too much. So that's the weekly, or that's the season-long points. Weekly is just the season-long points divided by 17, assuming that they all play 17 games, which isn't true, but whatever, we're just doing that for an average. And then the rank is the rank of that player within the position. So this is Tua is the 13th best quarterback, and these are just subjective rankings on how everything is put together. And I didn't do all these myself. I stole them from a website, but just thought it would be fun to look at it this way. So that's what all those things mean. And then I totaled everything up to see what the weekly totals were on offense and defense, and then total to see who's projected to score the most to least points. So we'll kind of talk through that as we go. So that's the format. So anyway, here's Lauren's squad. There's not too much to talk about here. We got Tua and Herbert at quarterback. I'm sure if anybody needs a quarterback, these guys are going to be available throughout the year. Tua is probably the premier piece on this offense or on this team to trade away right now. So Tua will be good. He'll be solid. So running back, we have Pollard and Chandler and Dobbins, and then maybe some Jaleel McLaughlin too in here of guys that can do some stuff. So we'll see what Pollard's like. Another year removed from the injury and what that split is like in Tennessee to see how he is this year. Chandler will be, I think he'll be great as soon as Aaron Jones gets hurt, which will happen fairly soon, I'm sure. It always does. And then we'll see if Dobbins is anything with his knees made out of paper mache, if he can do anything this year or not. The Chargers are going to run the ball a ton, so if he's any good, he could be very useful. And then McLaughlin seems like he's a fun guy in Denver, probably the third down back. He's tiny, so not sure if we'll be able to do more than that, but seems like he's fun. The wide receivers are not very good. There's not a lot to talk about here. Maybe Alec Pierce can do something if the depth chart plays out the right way. They're in Indy. Michael Wilson might be fun with with McBride and Harrison getting most of the coverage in Arizona. We'll see. Dalton Schultz with Diggs there. Just wonder how many targets are available for him. So the offense is kind of like how Michael Scott describes it there. It's the number 12 offense in the league, projected to score like 77, 78 points a week there on offense, which is like the lowest. Like it's 15 points behind whereas in 11th place. So it's like last by a lot. Defense is just the bare minimum here. We have like one extra guy that we're not going to start. So we're keeping all the offensive guys to trade, which is smart. So the defense is, you got a few guys here, a couple defensive linemen, that younger guys that have some upside here. And then Pace was good for the Vikings last year. We'll see how all that plays out this year with the new free agent acquisitions we have and all that. So the defense is also supposed to be 12th in scoring in the league each week. The depth is kind of a car crash here, but I think that's by design. So say this is one of the most aggressive rebuilds I've ever seen in fantasy football, and maybe even like more of an aggressive rebuild than some NFL teams go through. So that taxi squad is looking really good. The draft picks for next year are looking really good. So I think this is all going according to plan for Lauren. But this year, that looks like a pretty good summary of the team, is just the dumpster fire floating down the flooded river. So we'll move on to the next team here, which is Chang's Lions, led by Jalen Hurts, who looked like himself, looked really good tonight. So on the offensive side of the ball, we got Hurts, as we just talked about, a quarterback, going to be one of the best. The tush push looked like it's still a thing. I mean, it may not have been as good at it tonight as they were last year, but he's still going to get all those goal line carries and score a bunch of touchdowns. Gino could be fun with the new offensive coordinator and new coaching staff there, and that trio wide receivers is pretty talented. So there's some upside there, even though he doesn't look like the usually highest rated guy each week. The trio of running backs can be good if they're all healthy. Saquon looked awesome tonight, 3 touchdowns and pretty impressive. You know, he gets hurt, and that's always the concern is how long is he going to be out for during the season. Same as Aaron Jones. As I mentioned before, he's going to be hurt at some point. When he plays, he's going to be awesome. When he's hurt, it just depends on how long. The word on the street here is that he is not happy that the Packers let him go, and he's trained all offseason to make sure he can make it through the whole season. He's been telling people to draft him on the fantasy team because they're going to want him. We'll see how that plays out. Najee Harris, not exciting, but the Steelers are going to run the ball a million times a game, and they should probably be pretty good at it. So might work out pretty well. The trio wide receivers here, really good. Amon-Ra, don't need to talk about him. He's one of the best in the league. He's really fun. Debo, another guy, unstoppable when he is playing, but has a tendency to get hurt a little bit. And Jaden Reed looked really good tonight. If I was doing this last night, I may not have been as excited about him. Just wasn't sure who was going to emerge from that group of wide receivers in Green Bay, but he looked really good tonight. Tight end might be a little bit of a weaker spot. Cole Kmet, seems like there's a lot of promise and upside here, but it sounds like Gerald Everett, I guess Shane Waldron is their offensive coordinator. One of his favorites. He's going to cut into Kmet's playing time, but I think that eventually the talent would win out there. Noah Fant, you guys probably know more about him. He just seems like he's can be really good. Always hurt, but nobody ever tries to feature him. So maybe that'll happen this year. Then we got the best place kicker in the league here for the Lions. So this offense projected to score about 104 points a week, and that's good for 6th in the league. So towards the upper middle part of the league. So Shaq's pretty excited about it. On the defensive side, not quite as strong there. So I got a couple standouts in Khalil Mack and Julian Love. Look really good. The linebackers overall, Singleton and Frankie are pretty solid. Maybe some questions on depth from there, and then the younger guys at defensive end. Hope that there's some breakout potential there on those 2 guys, and you might need some help in the backfield there, or in the defensive backfield with finding the 3rd starter. So say all right on defense. The depth is okay. We got Rico Dowdle, so he's allegedly the starter for Dallas. And McCarthy says they're committed to the run, so we'll see if he's any good or not. Same, Brandon Cooks should be the number 2 in Dallas. Let's see if that's worthwhile or not. So overall chances, perhaps might need to be active on the free agency wire there to shore up some of the defense, and just need everybody to stay healthy. So next up, we have the Browns, Brett's team here. So Jonathan Taylor leads the squad here, but it's kind of an interesting mix. So we got Kyler, quarterback, should be good. Gonna run a lot. The defense should be really bad, so should be a lot of shootouts. So it should be in a really good spot to score a lot of points. Stafford is an old, reliable, standard backup. Nothing too exciting, but should be there if Kyler goes down. At running back, we got Jonathan Taylor. As long as he's healthy, he's really good. Pair him up with Richardson, seems even better. So we'll see if they can actually do that this year to have both those guys healthy at the same time. James Conner, another guy that is hurt all the time. I'd owned him every year until this year, and he's hurt for some part of the year every year, but usually really good when he plays. So the 4 receivers there, I think, are pretty solid. Olave, lots to talk about a breakout for Olave this year because they're going to feed him the ball a lot more and get him some lower ADOT stuff instead of all the high ADOT stuff, and just manufactured touches for him, and that should be good for fantasy points. So we'll see if the Saints are able to do that, which they don't seem too trustworthy, but we'll see. Devontae Adams might be on the not might be he is on the downside of his career. Vegas seems like they want to run the ball a lot more than they want to pass the ball, so maybe there's not a lot of upside here for Adams. But I don't know. He's never been my favorite guy, but he does produce. DK, if his head's on straight and they want to feature him, seems like it could be a monster. Just never know if that's going to happen. And then Christian Kirk had a lot of hype earlier in the offseason, and it seemed to dwindle after the preseason started, and he was only in 3 wide receiver sets. So we'll see if that holds true once they get in and are playing all the time, see how many times they have what formations they're in and all that. The 2 backups here, Shakir and Palmer, I think are decent bets to be good guys that you can rely on if needed. So good bye week fill-ins, and Shakir may have some upside to jump into the starting lineup. Njoku, very, very talented, fun guy to watch. His splits with and without Watson last year were kind of scary. He was not really featured when Watson was playing. And then when Watson was not playing, he was featured and was really great. So we'll see if they're smart enough to keep giving him the ball, even though Watson will be playing. So I think the offense looks pretty good. The starters are solid with a little bit of some upside on the backups. On the defensive side, the linebackers are very impressive. Maybe the best core in the league here with 3 guys in the top 10, and then Bernard is 17th in these rankings, but he should be really close to a top 10 guy. The rest of the defense is also very solid. The D tackles maybe want some guys that have that chance for a huge week where the D tackles probably don't. But I think pretty excited about the defense. The depth is I think is good. As I mentioned, you got the 2 receivers I think are good. DeAndre Swift, also potential backup there. Depending on what you want to do with Kirk and Swift and all those guys. Just get worried about if the guys are hurt. So overall, I think that this team has a chance to do some things. I don't know for sure. So weekly points wise for the Browns, the offense, they're both in the middle of the pack. Offense is about 102 points a week, good for 7th, and the defense is 79 points a week, which is good for 6th. So the predicted winner of the division here would be the Chargers, Mike squad. So the offense is pretty scary. We got Dak at quarterback. Should be fine. This week doesn't look good, but they'll be fine. The rest of the year, you got Watson to see what happens there with him. Maybe he can be decent again. He hasn't been for like a long time, but we'll see. The running back, trying to find a guy here from the free agency pool to probably just plug in and play each week between Singletary, Ford, and Zeke. He's probably just hoping for one of those guys to be decent enough because he's got a plethora of wide receivers to start. So we're gonna get 5 wide receivers thrown at us each week, and they're all pretty good. So CD, probably the best receiver in fantasy. Tyreek might have something to say about that, but he's ridiculous. Puka, also ridiculous last year. So those are 2 in normal redraft leagues. Those are 2 first round-ish guys. Puka might be going in the second now, but really, really good. Zay Flowers got a ton of touches last night with Baltimore. They were all right at the line of scrimmage, but still big part of the offense. Rashee Rice going to avoid the suspension all year and just be fed the ball from Kansas City, as we saw last night too. Tank Dell, super fun, deep threat guy, 3rd wide receiver. Diggs should help take coverage away from him, and that should be really fun. And then Godwin's going back to the slot in Tampa. He is going to get a ton of balls too. Deontay Johnson should be the leading target earner in Carolina, if that's worthwhile or not. But these, we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 8 receivers are really good. Tight end, not so good. Freiermuth probably is the starter over Conklin, even the points in here say differently. But neither guy I can get too excited about. But overall, the offense is real good, real scary. On the defensive side of the ball, pretty solid here as well. Maybe in the DNs could use a little improvement for the second and third, but having all of your linebackers in the top 25 and then your 3 D-backs in the top 22 is pretty good. So I think it's fine. Maybe lacking some of the high end stars, but some nice work at linebacker and free agency to pick these guys up, and then should be all right. So the depth is really good, a lot better than other teams, and overall pretty impressive roster that should definitely be a playoff team and be a contender for the title again this year. So we move into the Slytherin division here with the Commanders, Bills, Titans, and Bears. So we'll get started here with the Bills. The offense is a little interesting. So we got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. We're still waiting for the Trevor Lawrence breakout and for that to happen. Baker's the backup here, most likely. Good year last year. We'll see if they're still good without Canales this year. Running back, some nice work in the draft here, I think. James Cook, really good last year. Should be solid in Buffalo. It seems like they're going to run the ball more with Joe Brady at offensive coordinator. Zamir White is going to be fed the ball a ton from the Raiders. We'll just see if that's worth anything. And then got Chuba here that could potentially be your starter. Should be the guy for a good part of the year with Brooks coming off IR at some point. It doesn't sound like they're going to rush him back. Wide receivers, Waddle is a superstar there, and then the rest of the guys are all right. Sutton, number 1 wide receiver in Denver, but not sure if that's worth too much with Nix there and throwing short all the time when Sutton's game is going long. Addison, obviously Vikings fan here, watched Addison last year, are just worried that we have a quarterback that can actually throw him the ball. And then Jacoby Myers, it's not exciting. Myers and Thielen are probably pretty similar kind of guys. They're just possession receivers for bad teams. And then Laporta's a monster. Super fun pick there, and he's going to score a ton at tight end. So add it all up, and we are still the second lowest offensive team in the league. So on that side. On the defensive side, kind of in the middle of the pack, but kind of lower in the middle of the pack. So we got 2 superstars here with Myles Garrett and Antoine Winfield leading the way. The rest of the guys are all right. The linebacking crew is mostly through free agency there, and our free agency. So those guys should be fine. And the D-backs may need some help. So the Joker's moderately impressed with the defense. The depth is fine, and overall, I think if things go right, there's a chance. Fingers crossed that we can do something here. Next up in this division is Aaron's Titans. So this team is built far different than the rest of the teams in the league, led by Mr. Mahomes at quarterback. So we have like the fewest amount of players on this team than like anybody in the league. So it's pretty top heavy. We got Mahomes at quarterback. He's the best guy in the league. And super scary with all the new, not all the new weapons, but the new weapons he has this year. Running back, those guys, we've seen both of them play. Henry looked kind of yesterday, more so maybe the Baltimore offensive line, maybe holding him back this year, but he's still going to score a ton of touchdowns. And that can be a huge difference maker. Josh Jacobs, so that'll look pretty good tonight, and he should be the main guy in Green Bay there. And those are both scary guys. Tyreek, don't need to talk about that guy. He's just unstoppable. He's going to score a ton of points. They're going to be long touchdowns. So he's going to get lots of bonuses for that, and it's great. Pittman, we'll see if he got fed the ball a ton last year because Minshew just threw him it all the time. And Richardson may not be able to do that because he may not be able to throw the ball that well, or he may be running or stuff like that. So maybe we may have seen peak Pittman. We'll see. McLaurin could be the opposite. He could be that the guy that gets fed all the time from Jaden Daniels this year. So I think there's some upside there. And then DeAndre Hopkins needs to get healthy. It sounds like his injury may have been a little worse than they let on in the offseason. So Aaron might be looking for somebody this week to get into the lineup there to take over for Hopkins. Kelsey looked like he was 45 instead of 35 last night, but he'll be fine. Maybe not as dominant as he was before, but still be good. So the offense is a little top heavy. GIF is not working, but it should be Katy Perry jumping up and down. On the defensive side, built a little bit the same way. So that the defensive ends are quite good. Got two of the best in the league there with the Crosby and Hutchinson, and then Phillips is not far behind. The linebackers are all right. Probably waiting for a break out there from Troy Anderson. And then the D-backs are fine too. So it's a little dangerous at defense there. The depth, no, there is no depth. The depth does not exist. So if there are injuries, Aaron's going to be active, making some moves, making some trades, and going on. So overall, I'd say the upside is really good, but playing with fire, if we get a couple injuries, this can crash and burn pretty good. But we'll see how it goes. And the number one rated team in the division here would be the Commanders. So this would be the fourth best offense in the league over here. You got Burrow and Stroud, just an embarrassment of riches at quarterback. You know, who do you start each week? How do you figure that out? Just problems that we'd all like to have. The running backs look pretty solid with Bijan and Walker. Should be solid starters every week. Chase Brown, allegedly the number one receiver or number one running back in Cincinnati, should be fun too. The receivers looking good, but a little injured right now. Drake London set for a takeoff this year with actually a quarterback that can throw the ball and an offensive coordinator who wants to throw the ball. He should finally be the featured guy in the offense and very good. Mike Evans has been good forever and probably continue to be good. T. Higgins is already hurt. Hollywood Brown is already hurt. So one of those guys needs to play to fill in there for the third spot. And if they're both healthy, then maybe Chase Brown finds his way to the bench. We also have an embarrassment of riches at tight end with Trey McBride and Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So offense is looking really, really good here with a lot of depth. So very nice. On the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball is looking all right too. This is projected to be the fourth highest scoring defense in the league. So got some big guns here leading the way with Bosa and Fred Warner and TJ Edwards and Kyle Hamilton. Brad Branch will be good too. So overall, very, very solid on the defensive side here. Maybe need a little help at linebacker, or whoever that flex starter is going to be. You might need a little help. I think the depth looks pretty good as long as they're healthy. We talked about Higgins and Marquise in Hollywood. Should one of those guys need to get healthy. Mark Andrews, will see if he's totally washed up or if he was just covered really well by Kansas City. Overall, I think we're in for a party. Looking pretty good. So we'll move on to the actual favorite in the division here, which is Andy's Bears. This team is ridiculous, guys. We all know this probably already, but we'll just go through the highlights. Quarterback could be a concern. We'll see if we got both the guys that tore their Achilles last year leading the way. They both have done it before. They're both could be good. This could be a trade spot too. So Rodgers and Cousins should be able to find one of those guys each week to start. It may not matter with the rest of the guys here in the roster. So McCaffrey, Breece Hall, ETN at running back, like almost illegal. And then the backups as Rashad White. Rashad White isn't even going to start, probably. Kind of scary. Tajay Spears may be a thing. We'll see how that Tennessee backfield pans out. And then we got Chase, AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp. And if Jamar Chase doesn't play, just throw in Brandon Ayuk. So kind of scary. It's really, really Kyle Pitts at tight end. Kind of talk about the same thing with Drake London. If there's an improvement in the offense, you'd see that Pitts can finally break out and be a consistent option each week here. So the offense is impressive, scary. I don't think anybody wants to go up against it. It's really good. On the defensive side, did a good job here filling in all this stuff too. So I think this looks really good. So we're projected to be the number one scoring offense and the number 3 scoring defense in the league. I think most of this is filled in from free agency. So nice job working the free agency stuff with all of the offense already filled out. So defense looks really good. The depth is the best in the league, I think by far, and overall just nailed it. So it's all of our job to try to take Andy down this year. This team is definitely the team to beat. All right, so we'll move over to the Hufflepuff division. I would say the best division top to bottom in our league. So the Bucks, my Vikings, the Raiders, and the Panthers. So we'll start out with Lee's Raiders here. Josh Allen leads the way. I think it's interesting. We have one quarterback on the roster and two kickers already. So we're there's so much confidence in Josh Allen that we don't even need to have a backup, because why would you? Josh Allen, super fun. Just a little concern. Are they going to throw the ball less with the new offensive coordinator? It may not matter because Josh Allen may run more, may score more touchdowns. Just a super fun player to have on your team. Really fun to watch. The running backs, Mixon, Monty, Warren, I think they're all fine. None of them may provide like the weekly huge games that you would like, but they should all have solid floors. Ramondre might be the guy that sneaks into that lineup. Just depends if the Patriots are going to be a total shit team or if they're going to be decent. Wide receiver, the top two, I think you can trust every week with DJ Moore and Devonta. Rashid Shaheed, you're hoping takes that step this year. That talked a little bit about Olave getting the ball more, and they're talking about using Shaheed more than just a deep threat kind of guy there. So some potential there. Ridley, I would guess, is probably the starter over Shaheed to start with, and see how things shake out in Tennessee. But some potential there at the backup guys with Wandale. He could be a 6-7 catch a game guy for a low ADOT, but still those catches are important. And then Bateman, the Baltimore offense looked weird last night, but lots of talk about Bateman being going to be a factor this year, but may just look like it did last night. Evan Ingram caught a ton of passes last year. A lot of that was with Christian Kirk out, so just be interesting to see if that keeps happening with Kirk in the mix this year. But really good last year in Jacksonville, so I think the offense looks pretty good. On the defensive side, there are a couple really good guys, and then some other guys that aren't ranked so highly. The DNs maybe are concerning. The linebackers have some potential, like Cashman for the Vikings. He's a free agency acquisition for us, and he's always been hurt. The other two guys, highly rated, but or I shouldn't say highly rated. They're have a lot of upside, but need to prove it. And then on the D-back side, we need to find some other guys than the cornerback. So I think we have a little bit of when you look at it from one side, it looks pretty good, and the other side looks a little bit scary. The depth here, I guess I don't have any gif on the depth, but I think if things went right, maybe there's some stuff that can happen here. So we'll move on next to Mike's Panthers. Kyren Williams is the headliner here. So at quarterback, we have Goff. He plays indoors like the whole year until close to the end where he has to play outdoors, but much better indoor quarterback than outdoor quarterback. So maybe this is a year where he ascends up into the top 5, something like that. So the 3 running backs there, Kyren was just fun last year. Huge workload when he played. I think he missed 5 or 6 games, but they just fed him the ball all the time. See if Blake Corum cuts into that at all this year, or if he's the punt returner thing, keeps him off the field at all. But I'd be really excited to have that guy running the ball on my team. Javonte Williams should be the workhorse for Denver as well. So things look pretty good. Brian Robinson, he's got the Robinson and Eckler combo there. Maybe Zach Moss is the starter over those guys. So got some options there at third running back. The top 2 receivers, Nico and Amari Cooper, are the alphas in their offense. Nico Collins was really fun last year. I think Diggs is going to help free him up even more to be better this year. And then you got some options for the third starter there at wide receiver between Lockett and Shooty and Dobbs. You can kind of see what happens between them. Ferguson's a really good steady option at tight end. Maybe not the huge upside, but he's not going to have terrible games for either. So the offense is pretty good. On the defensive side, I think that looks really good too. I mean, looking at the numbers here, it's the best defense, projected scoring defense in the league. So the D-backs are all top 7. You got linebackers that are the top, 27th is your worst, and then the defensive ends are all like top 15 guys. So really, really nice looking defense. Roquan, Bobby Wagner, Jordan Brooks, those should be steady guys putting up a ton of points every week. Derwin James and Bates and Budda Baker, really gonna have some really, really nice scoring coming out of the defensive side. So I would be extremely excited about that. I think the depth looks good enough. You got guys that you can plug into the roster, and you're hoping that they can maybe have a little bit of upside. So with some luck, I think this team can make some noise. My team's next here. Jefferson is the headliner on the offensive side of the ball. So Lamar, quarterback, looked fine. Looked really good last night. I hope that they don't run him as much as they did last night, because he won't last through the season if they do that. Have Richardson as the backup there, and Darnold if he does what Mullins did last year when Cousins was out, he could have some upside, but he is Sam Darnold, so he could just be terrible. On the running back, it's a little bit scary. 2 running backs from the same team with the Achane and Mostert there. We'll see how that all plays out. Corum's projected to be scoring more than Edwards, but probably stick with Edwards early in the season and see how that Charger backfield shakes out there. So I think there's huge upside in Achane. The other with Mostert and Edwards, and just hoping to get steady points out of those guys each week, and then we'll see what happens with Corum. Wide receiver, Jefferson, Garrett Wilson are really, really good. Alphas in their team, just monsters. It'll be fun to watch those guys. We'll see what happens with Pickens. Pickens probably going to get Drake London this year with Arthur Smith running the offense there in Pittsburgh. Christian Watson may have hamstrings that are the same size now, so maybe he can stay healthy for more than 5 or 6 games and be a factor in Green Bay. A couple flyers on the other guys there at wide receiver, and then excited about Kincaid at tight end. So on the offense, it sounds pretty fun to me. A little concerned at running back. On the defensive side, the DNs are the strength. Those guys are all pretty solid. Good top end on the linebackers. Definitely lacking depth at linebacker. Did a very poor job in free agency getting linebackers that they should have gotten. When you end up with like $100, almost $200 extra money, you probably should have done a better job in free agency, getting some guys that would help your team win. D-backs, I think, are okay. Here we'll see what happens with Metellus. He played a lot as an in-the-box safety last year, but there's rumors he may not be doing that this year. But Jeremy Chin should go back into that role in Washington. So I think it's just okay. That defense, a little concerned about linebacker and how safety is going to play out. The depth, I think, is maybe all right. Depends on if Watson can stay healthy, what happens with those receivers, what the split is with Corum and Edwards, with Corum and Kyren, and then Gus Edwards is any good, or if it's all J.K. Dobbins. So we'll see. Overall, as Jesse Spano would say, I'm so excited, but I'm so scared to see what happens. All right, so the favorite in our division here would be Tim and his Bucks. So Jordan Love leads the way at quarterback. Maybe he still does. I don't know. He got hurt tonight. Let's see if that's anything serious, or if he'll be fine with kind of an extra few days of rest. If he's out, we have Bryce Young backing him up, and that's kind of scary. But the 3 running backs here look really fun. Jahmyr Gibbs, extremely fun. Just hope that he gets more of the split this year than Monty, but even if it's the same, still really, really fun. Kamara, all of his metrics are declining, but they have nothing else there. He's going to catch a ton of passes. It should be fine. And Pacheco looked like he normally does. He's good. He's going to score touchdowns and a really good offense. Wide receiver, Diggs and Keenan Allen, maybe guys that are on the downside of their careers. We'll see how much they're going to get, and if they're the number 2 or number 3s in their offenses. And Jameson Williams is the opposite. You're hoping for the breakout with him there. Curtis Samuel there as the kind of backup guy. We'll see what they do with him in Buffalo, and then Wicks, the fourth option in Green Bay, but could have some huge weeks. And Kittle, again, talking about guys that have huge weeks and up and down weeks. Kittle will be excellent most of the year, and he'll have some pretty shitty games, and he'll have awesome games that'll win you the week. So overall, the offense, that'll work. I think it looks pretty good. A little concerned with the Jordan Love injury from tonight. On the defensive side, it looks pretty good. The D line is really fun. 4 guys that are all in the top 10, really impressive. Top 2 linebackers are really good with Mosley and El-Shahir. And then may need some depth at linebacker with Devin White's hurt. Not sure what the length of injury that is, but Dean, I think, played tonight. I didn't see how he did, and then on the defensive backs, they need to watch the waiver wire there. But overall, I like it. The defensive ends will be good. Linebackers are good. Depth, not so much. It's just Curtis Samuel really here. So, but overall, I think it's a pretty fun roster, and should be really good on the defensive side. The offensive side, it's really going to depend on how Diggs, Keenan Allen, and Jameson pan out here. So that's the look at each team in each division. So the next slide here is my prediction of how the divisions break out. So the Gryffindor division has the Chargers winning it, Lions, or the Browns second, Lions third, Seahawks fourth. Slytherin is the Bears by a mile, Commanders next, the Titans after that, and the Bills coming in fourth, and then Hufflepuff is the Bucks, Vikings, Panthers, Raiders. So who is going to have the championship parade? Here's my predictions. So we have the Bears and the Chargers as the teams that earn the bye. The Bucks win the Hufflepuff division and get the Titans, and the Vikings and the Commanders go head to head there to get a chance to face the Bears. So Commanders beat me, and well, interesting. The Bucks and the Titans playing the Chargers win. I guess I'm just so confident that Mike's going to win that I'll put him in there. So that's supposed to say Titans. I think the top end of Aaron's team, they're still alive, which I think they will be. They win there. But then we get the Bears Chargers showdown, and the Bears talent wins it. So that's it. That's all I got. Which I had like funny jokes. I'm not super funny to have any funny jokes, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and good luck to everybody this year, and looking forward to some football. Talk to you guys later.